but which car might suit you the best? So our budget for today, gents, is 20 lakh rupees. The question is, what car are we buying?
Best-selling car in India for the last couple of months has been a 20 lakh rupee SUV,
Which is?
which is the Creta. When we go out to buy a car, most of the time it is not the situation that a person has zoomed in on a particular model. It's the price point. Then comes the body style. I like the engine performance of that car. I like the NVH of that car. The amount of space it offers. The mix of suspension which it's got. Like it's not uncomfortable like the Virtus. Volkswagen is like Levi's jeans. As compared to a Hyundai design, which will have to change with time to be in sync with
Which
time.
is like your fast fashion equivalent.
Exactly. I always believe that if you've not turned around and look at your car after you've parked it, that's not the right car for you.
I think Grand Vitara probably is one of the best riding SUVs in the segment.
Absolutely.
Best. Best.
I have very few times advised people to buy a car as much as I have advised the Windsor, because the Windsor is a great car for people who don't care about cars. Hello and welcome to Connecting Rod, the podcast of everything automotive, brought to you by Auto Today along with India Today podcast. Joining me today for our very unusual discussion on consumer advice, useful consumer advice for once,
Oh, hell.
is Rahul Ghosh and Anak Bhaskar, our senior correspondent, where we try to bring you perspective on this really exploding car market that India has right now, on the most, I think, volume dense segment, which is the sub 20 lakh rupee segment, to try and bring you insights on varying perspectives, but which car might suit you the best. So our budget for today, gents, is 20 lakh rupees. The question is, what car are we buying?
Adding to that perspective, Dipayan, in the last couple of months, we've seen this segment boom. And why we have come up with this 20 lakh rupee question is because the best-selling car in India for the last couple of months has been a 20 lakh rupee SUV,
Which is?
which is the Creta.
It's the best selling?
Yes.
It's
The Creta in the month of, I think, April or May. I might be either April or May. It was the Creta which was the highest seller.
So when you say Creta, this includes the electric Creta and all 2000 other variants of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
All inclusive, starting from the base variant to the top of the line Creta. Roughly about 15,000 units, if I am not mistaken.
So at the
But the
risk
top of the line Creta is about 20 lakhs.
Exactly my point.
No, so I mean, we're 20 lakhs is, let's say, a state of mind for
Yes.
this.
Fine.
So we're trying to gauge. This is where the volume density is. This is where most of your buyers are. This is where most of our viewers and listeners are from. And the struggle that we have among us, I think we represent very contrasting perspectives on what cars we should buy and what cars suit us best. And I think viewers and listeners will find some resonance in each of us and be able to come to a informed decision that maybe adds to the perspective that they already had that feeds their need.
To cut a long story short, when we go out to buy a car, most of the time it is not the situation that a person has zoomed in on a particular model. It's the price point. Then comes the body style. Then comes the engine.
Exactly.
So, like 20 lakh की गाड़ी लेनी है, क्या लेना चाहिए?
Exactly.
That is what
that's
we are,
the most common question posed to us as well.
Yes.
I think
That's true.
Not just in this building, outside,
Everywhere,
people just come up to
everywhere.
us and ask us.
Yes.
They tell us the budget and then they start whittling down cars.
Right. So I think we should start up with the youngest member in the team, Anand,
And our newest
20 lakh,
joinee on the podcast.
Newest joinee on the podcast. Welcome to Connecting Rod and Blabber.
20 lakhs. Not really a tough one because I think I would straight up just buy the Virtus GT.
Sedan.
Would you? No.
Yeah.
Interesting point. The Virtus GT or the Verna 1.5?
Virtus GT.
Why?
For me, it looks better. It looks more rounded off as a product. it appears more like a generic product, but it has all the qualities that I need. Like it's got the performance, it's got the comfort, and the Verna slightly. I mean, I'm not really a fan of how it looks.
Now you understand why Anag is on this podcast, to provide that Gen Z shallow insight.
You call it shallow, I call it smart. I mean,
Smartness in doing what?
How does the Virtus win over the Verna? In what?
it doesn't win. I just want it.
The Verna. You just said smarter.
Yes, but the Verna, let's say, I find the Verna to be more comfortable, to have more space, to probably be more fuel efficient as well. I've driven it quite a bit, so have you. But yeah, just not
Have
an
better
absolute. Yes, have
Service.
better
Everything
features.
works.
Service.
All the electronics work.
Service
all the
is
electronics
cheaper.
work.
You know what?
The one area.
The windows. All the windows
of a Virtus
go
GT.
up.
I've seen that issue with the-
let me tell you. There's this one problem with all Volkswagen
I
and
thought you were going to
Skodas.
discuss problems with Gen Z.
That's the problem. They don't understand before they just leap. So there was this common problem in the first generation of Volkswagen and Skoda
It's
cars.
Volkswagen.
Volkswagen.
Das
Das Auto. Okay. So now there was a common problem that the right side, basically the driver's door window, had a mind of its own.
No,
See,
this is all windows.
Yeah, sometimes it's all
no.
windows.
I
would
have had a
experience-
problem with the right window only.
Now
I mean,
this
I've
is
not sat
all-
anywhere else in the car, so I'm
Yeah.
not really aware of it.
Well, similarly here, but when you would try that auto up down or try to put the window up, it would go halfway, stop, and then start coming down.
So you know what the fault was, right?
No, please go
It
ahead.
was,
Tell us.
yeah, there was
It
a
was the
fault with the
anti-pinch.
anti-pinch system.
But
that,
there was nothing there which was stopping its movement apart from some dust, maybe.
Hence
Yeah.
a fault.
Great. Awesome.
Anag's engineering skills.
Anag's engineering skills, excellent.
Coming back to the point,
Yeah.
I feel that the only otherwise livable fault with the Virtus, or let's say its Skoda sibling, is the aircon. Doesn't really work as well, especially
the Virtus and the Slavia both have
Both.
ventilated seats,
Yes.
right?
both do. So
No.
the co-driver side as well, by the
No,
way.
he's talking air conditioning.
Yeah,
But-
but I'm just, I
Yeah,
just-
both of them
They
do,
didn't
yeah.
have it at.
Both of them do. Driver and co-driver powered seats as well, by the way. But yes, aircon is not the strongest suit of both of these cars, or rather, I think the entire family of cars from
Branch
this.
family, yeah.
Other than that, I think everything else is just
So there's
sorted.
So the only reason you want to buy the Virtus is because it looks cool.
It drives well, pretty well.
On a track.
I haven't driven.
I mean,
it
it's
on
not
a track.
comfortable.
It's not as comfortable as you'd
Verna.
expect. No.
On those nasty plastic speed breakers,
So do you
I
have a
would- I
sedan
would
under
actually-
20 lakhs that you would buy?
no, if we are doing like that, then it's a different story to
No,
talk
since
about.
he brought
you-
up sedans,
I would go for the Verna any day.
yeah.
Yes. If you had to choose a sedan, if you put a gun to my head and say you have to buy a sedan,
But
I
I
thought
will
you would
do
be a city
you-
person.
no.
because he's old.
Yeah.
Who said old? Verna,
I don't think we can do a podcast without calling Rahul old anymore.
Yeah. Have to be
enjoy
the
boys. Jeete raho beta. Verna, black.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Here's an interesting question though. Nobody buys any of the engine variants that we recommend.
Yeah, because people are sensible. Even when I bought my car, irrespective of how powerful the turbocharged petrol engines are, I chose efficiency and smoothness over gruffness and going bankrupt.
Your entire commute is 16 kilometers.
I do 10,000 kilometers a year in my car, unlike you sods who don't even have a car.
Because
You have to do
our
proper
job
testers.
demands
Proper
us
So
to be
does mine.
testing test
Proper
cars,
testing.
So does mine.
and you never drive any test
I
cars.
drive all the test cars. I'm sorry. It's
That is true. He does
and-
drive all the test cars for exactly what we.
and I don't blow tires.
Who blew tires?
Who blew tires?
And I see the gaddas on the road, and milkmen don't come into my car.
we're going there, huh?
Yes.
Mr.
Are we
Dog
going there?
Relocator.
Wow.
Yes, yeah.
I have
Dog
never
relocation is
Repatriation
over.
of dogs.
Dog relocation is over long time back. But yeah, coming back to the question, the Verna, because I think the Verna is a car which does everything well. Okay, I like the engine performance of that car. I like the NVH of that car, the amount of space it offers, the mix of suspension which it's got. Like it's not uncomfortable like the Virtus. At the same time, it is. The first generation Verna used to like wallow like crazy.
Yeah.
Gone are those days.
No,
Nowadays,
the Verna is a properly engineered car.
Absolutely.
Make no mistake
add
about
to
it.
that, the only thing I am not convinced about is the styling of the car.
I like it.
Well, that's the problem. You see, with something
an
like the
age thing.
GT, yeah, like the GT, right? It will always remain a beautiful car. Like you look at
Timeless.
the
Which
look at the
GT?
Polo,
The Virtus.
the Virtus GT.
Okay.
Like say the Polo. Even today, that Polo is an age-old design. But even today, when you look at a Polo on the road, you say, a nice looking thing, yeah. Will you do the same thing with the i20? No.
That is something that
So
Volkswagen does
it's like
better than everybody
Volkswagen is like Levi's jeans.
Damn.
As compared to a Hyundai design, which will have to change with time to be in sync
Which
with
is
time.
like your fast fashion equivalent.
Exactly. So those lovely lines which you see today,
May not
10
age
years
as
down the
well.
line, I don't know.
For
That
Hyundai,
is
that
a
is what is
great-
winning the award.
great- Yes.
And it's the old fellow talking fashion and all these things, by the way.
Talking
Welcome to the
timeless
fashion
fashion,
podcast.
and that's really a very good point because polarizing designs are something that a lot of manufacturers are picking up today, and it does work momentarily.
Momentarily,
I mean,
yes.
it does start the conversation around the car. It does bring the hype, but it's something that loses value over time, which
Yes.
these classic designs like your
It doesn't.
Virtus does not.
Like today, the other day, we were just talking about it, Dipayan. I think, Anag, you were also there, about that Polo GTI,
Yeah.
which was coming up on sale. I mean, why were we running towards a Polo GTI? Not just because of its performance, because you feel good when you see that car.
Yeah.
I always believe that if you've not turned around and look at your car after you've parked it, that's not the right car for you.
And it's what, 8 years, 9 years old almost.
It's an 8-9-year-old car. Yeah, the Polo design is much older than
Yep.
that.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
But I would, just finishing off the Verna part of it, the other big aspect for buying a Verna would also be service network and the cost of service. I own a Hyundai car and I know it as a fact that the cost of service is excellent.
Okay, but it's worth considering that Skoda and Volkswagen are no longer the outliers that they used to be in the way they are.
No, not at
They have
all.
become major players.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not just
Absolutely.
major players. They are now more localized. They're more inexpensive. They're more accessible. It is,
Cost of service has come down drastically for Skoda and Volkswagen.
and it's because it's a pain point for them, because we all have this, I guess, bracket that we fit them into. They've gone doubly down. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Virtus is actually cheaper to service. We can find this out and maybe
You can check.
leave a note.
No. That is not there because of I think the oil usage. Volkswagen always, basically the Germans always use synthetic oil, fully synth. And that is why the cost of engine oil is more.
Yeah.
Now, if you calculate it that way, I had done this calculation earlier. So, Virtus GT or one of these cars with synthetic oil has the service interval which is double of that of Hyundai or Maruti Suzuki. Right? So what happens is that the Germans will do 10,000 kilometers per service. This will go into service every 5,000 kilometers. So at the end of the day,
The net
its
result
borderline is the same.
exactly what I was thinking.
Yes.
Okay, I have another question. Let's take the turbos out of the picture, because the turbos aren't the volume drivers.
Right.
Right?
That's true.
We are looking at your NAs. Now, which would be your pick from the NAs of the sedans?
Again, Varna.
The 1.5?
Yes.
The 1.5, not the 1 liter.
Definitely no.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
mean,
turbo,
it's
that's a
still a
3-point.
turbo, but it's the downsized turbo 3-point.
Maybe because it drives almost as well. I mean, we have driven the 1 liter TSI. It's a smooth engine. It's got the punch.
Is it
but
a smooth engine? I
but
always felt like that
it's
1
got
liter engine is always like
it's
It's that gruffy feeling which I don't
Scrappy
like.
Doo kind of situation. It's always
gruffy,
on the
but-
leash, trying to
but
get.
what that engine does not feel is underpowered.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's not under.
It's
It's
not,
not.
it's
See,
not
none of the
underpowered. So
Volkswagen cars feel
the
like that.
1.5 Hyundai NA, it
I
does
think it's
feel
a great option because
yeah.
because it's not a huge sacrifice on displacement. Is you're just getting a much smoother power delivery for about the same price as the 1 liter turbo, which I think is a damn good deal.
See, 4-cylinder engine, any which way is naturally aspirated, is way more smoother.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be a lot more efficient as well. Another
Oh,
place-
definitely. No. There's a trick to this. Having been driving my naturally aspirated
Hold my wheel.
Hyundai Venue
What
for
colour?
Oldie car.
What?
What color?
White and black.
Where's
My
the black?
other car is a fancy one, so don't even get there. Naturally aspirated again.
When did you get an M?
But coming back to the point, with naturally aspirated engines, you have to be careful, right? You have to keep it at a lower rev and drive very sedately at around 80 to 90 on the 1.2 Kappa to get incredible fuel efficiency.
Yeah.
Keep it at 1500 below 2000 RPM, roughly about 1800. I get 25.
That-
25 kmpl, that is like, and that too with luggage and full people on board. 25 kmpl on the highway. In the city, I regularly get 17. If you give that same car to Mr. Bhaskar sitting there, he will drop it to 9 kmpl within no time because he'll rev the nuts of that engine.
It
Right?
likes to be revved.
It doesn't like to be revved. Like, you are the kind of person who will make a carnival dance also. So, no, it is
I
not
think-
supposed
I
to
mean-
be.
I think it's worth speaking to both these people's girlfriends.
Oh. Let's talk cars. Let's
go back to cars.
Don't be
Okay.
your notifications again. Huh? Let's get back to
So,
cars.
coming back to cars, I think where Volkswagen really lost out, especially in consideration with the 1.5. So they have cylinder deactivation. Okay.
Yes.
And I think for the most part, a 750cc turbo inside the city for your commutes is more than enough. What they needed was
Manual
a button.
activation. Yep.
No, but
It would have.
No.
It would have.
Listen, that is a very dicey situation. Let the
Why is it
engine,
dicey?
I'll tell you. Let the engine decide at what
Is the
point.
engine
But the
deciding?
engine wants to go fast and give
Is
you
the-
power all
is
the
the
time.
engine deciding?
But
the
yes,
engine
no,
decides.
No, the engine is not
it is the
deciding.
RPM which
It's the
the
throttle.
speed at
It's the
which
throttle. It's the
correct. So
throttle.
if
As
you,
far as
so
I'm
there
aware,
will
it's
be
the
people who
throttle.
will want to
It's
drive the
absolutely the
car in
throttle.
3 cylinders or
So-
2 cylinders for the rest of their lives. They
Yeah.
will keep that switched off and
Yeah.
then they
Yeah.
will not get that efficiency.
Yeah, but
Or
don't
they
you
will
think
complain
it's-
about power and
Don't you
performance.
think it's a better idea than having two
No,
motors?
not in India. No,
Because
no.
a 750cc turbo for a verticized car is fine for the city.
Depend again, you are asking people to make a choice of how that car
I am
will perform.
asking Volkswagen as a group
Huh.
why it's not possible to add a technology that they already
You are
have.
talking about like a start-stop system where you can switch on, switch off the cylinder
Exactly.
deactivation. No, I think no.
But there's, I think, a point
It's
here.
not the right thing to do.
In the city, I think it's much more difficult for the cylinder deactivation
to work.
Why?
work.
Because you're
constantly accelerating,
Yeah,
decelerating.
absolutely
When
right.
cylinder activation actually works,
Is
is
on the
at a
highways.
particular it works
So
in the
what
city as
calibrates
well.
it?
As far as I'm aware, the throttle does.
No.
Engine RPM and what gear
The
you are
ECU.
traveling in. Yeah, of course.
I mean,
Yeah.
So everything is
Yeah. So when the throttle application is at X level, sending X amount of fuel
right.
to
So you
the
have to
ECU.
sit there, like in stop and go traffic. If you put it on a 750 turbo,
Yeah.
you will need to rev the nuts out of the engine.
No,
to-
You have two. No. You have two maps. Okay.
Again, you are
You are live
complicating.
switching between-
No. Wait a minute. You are complicating a humble sedan.
I am complicating the engineer's life and trying to make the consumer's life
because
easier.
they
No, no,
already
no.
engineered it like that. They just
I don't
just
buy
did not
the
give
fact
a-
that the consumer should be able to switch on or switch off the system, because it is a complex process which people have to understand the usage. Here you have people who are putting cars under a waterfall and saying the sunroof is leaking. You want those guys, people who have no clue on
There will
technology,
always be
to
those guys,
select
but
between
one
cylinder
second.
deactivation.
We are
You're
still
giving-
on the side of the consumer always. That is who we are.
Correct. So
as-
let the car automatically decide and tell it's like
Have you
you
driven
can
it?
change
Have
the
you
gear.
driven
Of
it?
course I've driven it.
Yeah, how many times have you managed to get into cylinder deactivation?
A lot of times.
I don't.
A lot of
I don't
times,
believe
because
that.
it is how you
the
drive.
most-
No, not at all. It is a very
It
easy
is
thing
the
to
most
do.
finicky system.
Not at all.
In the
No,
world.
I disagree.
Every Reddit
no,
thread,
I
across
disagree.
every YouTube video.
No. I disagree.
is
If you
the-
drive patiently, you can call me an old man.
He
I'm
has an
fine with
asphalt.
it.
As good as.
It's fine, but it's very easy to get that on. It's very easy, and that's why I'm constantly telling you that leaving this on the consumer is not the right thing to do. Absolutely not.
I think the consumer is smart enough.
Yeah, we'll
I
find.
agree with the pan, just in the just on the angle that, well, I would probably just use it on the highways while cruising.
Yeah.
Most like not in the city, most
So
likely,
in
but
most of
like-
the time, it is not going to come on in the city. It's not going to come
Yeah,
on in the
so I
city
mean-
because you're not on a steady throttle. So you're not cruising. It comes when the car does not need that power. In the city, it's hauling. It needs that power to, when you're putting it on first gear and going, 3-cylinder is not going to work.
Two.
To whatever, sorry. So it's not going to work like that. And then people will go out and come, ये तो खींचती नहीं है, ये तो चलती नहीं है, mileage नहीं आ रहा है, because you are, making a mess out of that technology.
I think the average Volkswagen customer is slightly smarter than that. Than the average Hyundai customer.
Okay. Fair enough.
Now moving to you.
Oh shit.
20 lakhs. Please don't say Creta. What car would you buy?
Oh my god. 20 lakh. I actually bought a car recently, but no, actually lesser than that.
lesser than that.
Now though it's 12 lakhs.
11, no?
People have got it for 10 also.
Wow.
Okay.
So okay, we'll leave recreational vehicles
Away. Yes.
away.
Stupid
Midlife
decisions.
crisis.
Stupid decisions should not be.
Yeah, we'll do a
considered.
different show on midlife crisis.
Most practical all-in-one vehicle. That's it.
Grand Vitara all-wheel drive.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
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 That's a very, very interesting choice. Can you elaborate a little?
Yes. I personally believe, like millions of other people across the world, that an SUV is the way to go. Because in my commute,
What is the ground clearance of a Vitara all-wheel drive?
Vitara is slightly, I think, 130, 40 odd.
More?
Around 40, I think.
More. But all-wheel drive is the same as the standard
Yeah,
one, as far as I'm
140
aware.
roughly.
It's
So-
just the hybrid is lower, I think, because it's
yeah,
heavier.
because of the
So you remember that
Virtus and the
Golf GTI that I drove?
Yeah.
It has 136 millimeters of ground
Yeah.
clearance.
No, I think
You remember that reel that went viral and
Yes.
people ripped me a new one?
yes,
Yeah.
136 millimeters of ground clearance.
superb. So the
which
reason
is
for
4 millimeters less than your SUV,
thank you so much.
for the record.
Thank you so much.
I'm
My
not
SUV
aware if
doesn't
that's
have
an
overhangs.
accurate number.
Number one, it's not as low as the overhangs are not as much. Number one, the body kit is not going to scrape speed humps. My articulation is better. My ramp over angle is better. So overall,
You
if you are
can
not
drive to Ghaziabad safely.
yes, definitely all those nasty speed
What a
humps I don't need
battleground.
to worry about. Number two, which I personally think I need, is because of the simple reason that I like to go to the hills, explore. So that all-wheel drive tech is something which I might just use. It will probably be used twice a year, but on those
But
two
Indians
occasions,
anyway buy cars for their 1% use case.
No. Say all-wheel drive is genuinely something which I won't require 90% of
Yeah,
the
which
time.
is why I was so surprised by your choice, because the all-wheel drive does not have the hybrid system, right?
No.
Is the 1.5 NA manual?
You would ditch fuel economy for the all-wheel drive system.
Yes.
I'm
But
impressed.
1.5 is anyway quite
It's
fuel
simply because
efficient. So-
if that's my only car,
Yeah.
I want to explore, and the kind of person I am, I take my own car wherever I can, and across weather patterns. So I would prefer having an all-wheel drive over a hybrid system, definitely, and go to places like Narkanda or somewhere in the snow or something like that. And the all-wheel drive system will give me that, at least that confidence. Will it do something like what the Jimny does? No, there is no way that all-wheel drive Grand Vitara will get to places where the Jimny will get.
No, the
But-
Jimny is a recreational vehicle.
Yes.
This is the family car
Right.
that can come close.
Right.
Close
Now-
enough.
Now, coming back to the same point, because this is a family vehicle, my family can get in and out of the car much comfortable,
It's lower.
right? It's the seats are not very high. My folks, who are genuinely old now, they can get into the car aram se.
This is
I
something
can.
we just don't. I mean, our folks are also
I
kind of
don't have
old.
people
Yeah.
getting into any.
No, your dad is still riding around a ESD, so don't even like get there.
Fair.
The boot space again is very important for me, because when we travel with, I don't know how many bags.
You also get more boot space because no hybrid.
Exactly my point. So the boot space on the hybrid section is less. So overall, and again, because it's a Maruti Suzuki, I get a service network which will be there for my support wherever I want it. The Grand Vitara is a superbly successful vehicle, which will be serviced, maintained, parts will be available. Parts will not be cheap, will not be too expensive,
And that all grip system
and that all grip system is damn good.
is something that is very, very underplayed. Not
Absolutely. I
just
don't
in
know
the
why.
market, but by
Maruti Suzuki themselves.
like the consumer
Yeah,
I mean.
understanding of that all grip system, which is globally a renowned and pretty
It's-
excellent piece of
It's
technology.
a
proven
excellent
tech.
piece
It's a
of
proven
technology.
tech.
It's an excellent piece of technology, and
It's super underplayed in
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it gives me everything that Grand Vitara, like a little bit of my enthusiasm about going to places and all that. I can do that with the Grand Vitara. I can travel with the family in the Grand Vitara. I can go cross country with the Grand Vitara. My service is not a problem. So overall,
You
my
have
choice will be a
spent
Grand Vitara.
some amount of time in the you have spent some time in the Grand Vitara all-wheel drive, right? I haven't really.
We had it for a while. So.
Yeah,
What is the ride like?
right.
Ride was good. It was slightly different to the NA and slightly again different to the hybrid one because of I think the weight
Weight
at
and all
the rear rather, not the front. But otherwise, I think Grand Vitara probably is one of the best riding SUVs in the segment.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
Best,
Whoa.
best.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, definitely.
It's
and,
in.
and you know,
I actually like the way it looks.
It
you know
rides
that
very
all-wheel
well.
drive thing, only thing it needs is good tires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You give it good
but
tires.
what I think is a drawback is like the seats because like I travel like a long journey with the Grand Vitara. Not really very happy with the seats because like,
Especially the second row, I know is
yeah,
very
it's a bit
uncomfortable.
crampish. Like if
And
you do
the
the same
floor
thing
is
in a
still pretty
Creta or a
high.
Seltos, you're pretty comfortable. The seats
Yes,
wrap around your
yes,
back,
yes,
doesn't
yes.
hurt. The steering
Seats in the
like,
Creta / Seltos are much better.
yeah.
And to be really honest, if you just don't want to make a mistake, you have to go for the Creta, whether you like it or not, Dipan. If like when my brother was buying the car, he is not a person who's an enthusiast who wants this, who wants that, the car to go fast. He wants a good car for the family. It had to be an SUV.
So Creta
The
le lo.
choice was Creta. There was nothing else.
But that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to add to this palette
Right.
by giving some additional information and some additional insight.
But going forward, I have a different choice, although it's borderline
Okay, you get one wild card. Go for it.
20 lakh rupees.
I'm scared.
Go for it.
I am going to say something which you are not going to like.
Oh no. What is it?
My 20 lakh rupee car, even if it was the base variant now, and I will be brave, will be the BE6 Mahindra.
So before this podcast started, I kind of mentioned that would probably be my car.
And I bought it.
So there we go. So, but wait. Okay.
But एक minute. The only problem I have with that BE6 is that my apartment is not ready for EVs as of now.
But it's got a big battery. I mean, charge it in the office.
Well, I'm not in the office.
I mean, we're
every
not
day.
considering our privilege of being automotive testers and having
you have to go
charger.
to a charger and wait there and all those things.
That is
the only thing.
Every third day you can go to a coffee shop and charge.
I have
guess.
genuinely
You have too much time in the world. He has too little
work. He needs to be made. What are you talking about? Coffee shop? When did you?
At the same time as you guys do.
What? Anak Bhaskar.
Leave at the same time as you guys do.
But what time do you come in?
Plead the fifth.
So anyway.
Dipan. I have genuinely fallen in love with the BE6.
Yeah,
And
I am still waiting to drive it. Hi, Mahindra.
Yes.
Still waiting to touch one.
Yeah. And I have just loved of, Dipan, all those things which you hate about SUVs,
Yeah.
the BE6 takes care of that.
And which is why the BE6 was going to be my choice, and we'll get to it. I have
you've not driven it.
I have a whole lot of questions for you about the BE6.
Go for
But
it.
first, let's circle around once. What would be your choice of this C segment SUV later?
I would say the
Seltos. That's just sensible. What? Anak Bhaskar, sensible decision.
Which engine?
The turbo.
Which one? The
The turbo.
1.4 TG.
No, the 1.5
1.5.
turbo.
Oh, the 1.5.
Yeah,
It's a-
same 160
as that.
bhp. Yeah.
It's a fantastic car.
Brilliant car.
From this C segment later, what would be your choice?
The Seltos.
The Seltos. Why the Seltos, not the Creta?
Number one, not a fan of how the Creta looks again. And I think just how Kia does their reddish and black accents. And
40 variants.
so does
now
Hyundai.
everybody has
Hyundai.
Hyundai.
So does
I
like
mean-
everybody else. I mean,
No, come on.
if you're talking variants, let's talk about
Motors,
Tata.
Tata
Like-
Motors and
those
Kia.
are-
You can't beat
the
them
Kia
in
is still
weight.
less than Tata, as far as I'm aware.
I'm going to say this, and you're going to lose your mind, but why not the Harrier?
The Harrier.
I haven't really
will-
driven the new Harrier. Hi,
No,
Tata.
the Harrier I will not buy because
Or
it's
for that
huge.
matter, the
I don't
XUV
need a car.
700?
Huh?
Or the XUV 700?
Yes,
I have a key point
that
there.
is
I have
an
a key point
excellent,
there. I have a key point
really,
there.
really like.
I love the XUV 700. I think all of us sort of do.
Absolutely.
Like we have put down so many kilometers behind the wheel
You've
of one.
lived in the car.
Yeah. The simple fact is that the ones that we drove were the
Top of the line.
Top of the line, and
Exactly.
I think they retail for what, 25,
Close to
26.
30, yeah.
It starts at 19 point
And that's
something,
ex-showroom,
something. Yeah,
ex-showroom, right? So
So you are the
buying
pampered lot.
So buying the one below 20 lakhs, whatever, like it'll come with the bass speakers, displays, whatever. Like the nice
The
technologies that
goodness
we
is
do
not there. The
appreciate.
goodness is not there.
The goodness is not there. Maybe the seats are also different, of course. I mean, all of those things. Maybe the experience, I mean, like, you got to experience it to know how it actually feels. But, like, I don't think the experience would be as great as...
You know what would be my pick from this segment? Although it's a fringe existence, would be the Karens.
But it's not a
Hello,
SUV. It's a 3-row.
I mean, it's,
uncle. You were calling me.
But
It's now the
kind of-
Clavis. It's now the Clavis. So, like...
No, the
Is it-
Karens.
I mean,
No, there's only one variant
you
now.
got one variant of the
Now it's the
Karens
Clavis.
now.
Okay, so the Clavis, whatever fits under the 20 lakh, the Clavis then.
Haan, theek hai.
Which, just hear me out.
Point to be noted, Milord.
Mr. MPV.
Mr. MPV.
Dad to
Midlife
be.
crisis, all those things, huh?
Dad to be.
Beaten up.
School run for the kids.
School run for the kids.
Exactly what that segment is about.
But you are not from that segment, na?
No, but I'm saying what would be my pick of the litter from the C segment? I'd buy a Karen's diesel. 3 rows,
Oh my god.
comfortable,
Wow.
practical. Stop. Why are you acting like this? This is
I'm
perfectly
acting
normal.
like this not because of anything else. It's just that like
It's a nice car to drive.
if you're honestly counting diesels, then like
And here
why-
is the person who's talking about a BE6.
Yeah.
You traitor.
Why
No,
would
no,
you
that-
not? Why would you? Okay, fine. Why would
Why
you
would
not
I?
buy
Yes.
the Seltos diesel or the Creta diesel? They
Yes,
get the
go
same
for it.
powertrain.
It's more space on the because they're
Why do you
anyway going to
need that
drive
much
like
of
crap.
space?
They're all of them drive
What
like
do you
crap.
want? All your girlfriends together or what?
We tried that.
What?
I almost died it, but anyway,
Died?
Were you the
Oh
one
my
driving?
God.
I ran. But anyway, that's a different subject altogether. I think that was me. That is a different subject altogether. I think that the Karens is really, again, one of those
Why
really...
not the Alcazar then?
The Alcazar is a very nice car, but the Karens is still the value for money offering.
He's looking for space.
Yeah, I'm in shock.
I'm just being
Man
the
generally
devil's advocate.
searches for the tightest of spaces.
Anyway,
I'm speechless.
moving on. So, yes, the car I would buy for me would be the BE6. Okay.
Now you're talking.
Now, straight factors. Okay. I get the most amount of performance, 265 horses. I get a rear wheel drive car.
Oh my God.
I get a Volkswagen platform, essentially. Okay.
Let's not get there.
Why? Why are we laughing?
Okay, carry on.
Okay. Essentially, I mean, technology sharing is the way of the modern world. It's something that it's not funny. I mean,
No, it's
In-glow
not funny. I
platform.
mean, just saying. It's not branded as such. Hence.
It's in glow.
So we know it.
I mean, everybody knows it. It's no close secret.
Okay.
It's a great platform. It's how we are growing across the globe. It's what
do you
globalization is
truly
doing.
believe that this platform is like proper for India though?
Why don't you believe that it isn't?
I don't. I know. I'm asking.
I
you.
mean, see,
I didn't say that I don't. I haven't
electric-
driven the car, so I'm not really going to comment a lot,
Electric
except the fact that it
platforms
looks
are pretty
insane.
much bulletproof. I mean, other than electrical fault, they're waterproof.
Yeah.
They're submergible.
Yeah.
There's no moving parts. There's nothing to go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
They even pass nail penetration tests.
nowadays, yeah.
And I think going that it's Mahindra and their new plant for battery manufacturing and EV manufacturing, I think they must have gone through, I don't know, how many months of testing of each
So
of these components.
I was
so they
there
gel
for the
well
tech
together,
day.
I guess.
And that's, I think,
No, I
somewhere
was there
where-
for the tech day. So the kind of R&D and the kind of testing they've done is really commendable. There might be electrical glitches here and there. Some Apple CarPlay not working or one of
I
those
mean,
things.
Windows don't work sometimes. I mean, like, those are, I guess,
But
the
as
smaller...
we've seen over
But
the
as a
years, in
car-
fact, this was something that we said a lot with the XUVs. We hushed and said it, oh, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, pre-production, whatever. But over the years, we've driven those same XUVs that have gone through OTA updates. We've driven some 16,000 odd kilometers 2 months ago in cars that we've driven last year for another 16,000 kilometers. Now they're closing in on
50.
90,000 kilometers.
90,000
The car that I drove,
Oh my
we
God.
crossed 80,000
And,
while on the drive itself.
It was a word to Mahindra because there was, the usual things that happen. The door cards start rattling, the little plastic elements start rattling. These cars had none of that.
And not to forget that
Then these are not really loved.
Exactly my point.
They're the most abused XUV 700s in the
ever.
country.
Drivers are driving it, us sorts are driving it, our colleagues from other publications are going through it, and these are all long drives. Like, come to think of it, that one car which was repeated this time, 32,000 kilometer to हमने डाले.
Exactly.
32,000 kilometers. Last
And
year's
these are-
drivers
these
have
are-
changed.
1,000 kilometers every day
Every
for
day.
30 days.
And what
Yeah,
was
yeah.
and every time we would go through a bad patch or some place where like the roads were shabby, and we would all just get out and for a drink of water or something, and we were like, what a tank. What an absolute
But
tank.
again, Anag, let me tell you that the feel of a base variant and the feel of a top of line variant is very different. The kind of treatments you get, the kind of features you get, the feel good factor goes, especially in a car like the 700, which is so tech rich.
Yeah.
You're
fair.
not talking about like a small car, like a Alto or one of those things which people just buy it as a point A to B commuter.
I have a question. You said the Creta is the most high selling car,
Yes.
whatever month.
Yes.
Where was the Alto?
Alto? I
Alto
think
isn't
it was-
there. Actually, the
it is
Wagoner,
not
the
even-
Wagoner is there.
It is not even in the top 10, Dipan.
The Alto.
The number 2 is a Desire.
But I think
It's crazy. The amount of, I think it all boils down to one point, that loans are easily available and cars are now being bought as per the EMI one person can give.
where was the next one?
Nexon was in top 10. Top 10
Okay.
mein tha.
One, not the top 3.
Huh? Top.
That car constantly
No, no.
sells above 15,000,
No,
14,000
because-
units a month.
No, because there it has a challenger now, the Windsor EV.
I mean,
The Windsor has really
and the Punch.
Punch was not there. Nexon
Both the
was
Punch
there.
and the Nexon have been top sellers.
Now, I
Like,
have another very interesting question for y'all. So, yes, okay. You'd get the Virtus, you'd get the
Grand Vitara,
Grand Vitara,
all-wheel
all-wheel
drive.
drive.
I would have the B6.
Hey,
Fine.
when did that happen?
No,
but not the current.
No, the Carrots
said
was only in the
Clavis.
C segment when we were going around.
Okay.
That was my pick from that litter. But what is your wild card?
B6.
Okay.
Definitely. It doesn't serve my purpose at all. But I just love that car. I just can't get over that damn thing.
You'd probably go in the showroom to buy the B6 and then auntie would probably look at it and you'd probably come back with the XUV90, which is fine.
No, I will not take her to the showroom. I will take her for the delivery of the car after everything has been done. I don't want to be sensible. I'm sorry.
You've already bought an unsensible car.
Yes, I need one more.
But then you'll have to buy another sensible car to match it.
No.
Balance.
Okay, what would be your dark horse?
This is a really tough one. But
Leave the box behind and like
Yeah. Just think wild.
I would say the Scorpio N.
Oh my God. For Explore?
no, that's.
I mean,
above.
if it comes under 20, then
MX
sure.
Why,
MX5
why
is
not
not-
the Windsor?
Why not the Windsor?
Uncle.
No, the Windsor is a great car. The Windsor is a great car.
So what? The Clavis is not a good car. It's an
I
excellent
haven't
car
driven the
to
Clavis,
have.
but it's an excellent car. We are talking Windsor, the highest selling EV in India.
Absolutely. It's an
quite
amazing car to
literally a
buy.
segment
Windsor,
breaker.
I'm telling you.
But he's the... Hello. I am speechless again.
So, my objective of this podcast has been to pick the most shocking thing, and obviously that's worked. But no, my point is, I have very few times advised people to buy a car as much as I have advised the Windsor, because the Windsor is a great car for people who don't care about cars.
It is a wonderful thing to
It's
have.
a great car for people who don't care about driving. Per se.
Yeah, I
would
mean the
say.
way the car looks. Or,
Yeah, how it looks. They just care about sitting in the vehicle and going from point A to B in utmost comfort.
It's just perfect. If you have a...
Wow.
Family.
Nice.
He questioned
Nice.
you. He
Full-
questioned you
full
just like
Punty.
a few seconds
I
ago.
should,
and
like,
he's-
wait, I should say that I am saying V6. Hello, that is my surprise. If I say Windsor EV, it works because I'm thinking
Old.
about...
I mean, if you
Yes,
say Ferrari
there.
and it was a Crore, I mean, like, nobody would be that surprised.
Exactly.
The
Okay.
B6 is like
Okay.
the shining.
I
Whatever.
have another offering here. And you all might shit on it, but the Francs.
You get the top of the line also.
You
The turbo.
the if you go for even if I'm again speaking for the vast majority,
Vast majority.
the vast majority, I think they would still buy the NA, and you'd get an NA top of the line Francs for as little as 12 lakhs.
Turbo to you will get the
It's
top of the
13
line.
and
Yes,
change.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Okay.
But you are then saving 7 lakh rupees. Na? That's not the point.
No, I'm saying it's
I-20N is also there. Don't forget about that also.
the i20N is also a great car.
Venue
Now
N
it
is
comes with the
there.
manual, by the way.
Creta N is there.
Yeah, that is.
So
Those
I don't like any of the N SUVs. In fact, I barely like the i20N. I really like the i20 as a car. I barely like the i20N.
I so wish you could drive the Ioniq 5N.
That's an N. There's a
N.
difference.
Here it's an N.
This
and
is like
a
an
line.
M Sport and an M car.
Right.
So, like, I mean, take N-lines, I like them. They're a nice concept. They're a step in the right direction, but I barely like them.
I think they're more for the masses than for the
They're
enthusiasts. for some
more
reason.
for this demographic right
Ah.
here.
Even I wouldn't buy the i20
Red
and then
accents.
perhaps
Yeah, I don't know
actually.
what's happening today. I mean, people are talking sense.
I mean, I'd rather buy the Kailak.
Sensible consumer advice, ladies
There.
and gents, for once.
There. Why
my
haven't
God.
you mentioned the Kailak? I'm surprised.
Because we are not talking about that segment of vehicle. We are
Yeah,
talking
but
about
then we
Kodiak.
Yeah,
and
the-
We just went to the Franks.
That's what. No, he's. I don't know where.
I'm
he's-
talking about dark horses in this
No,
space.
you
These
can't go down
realistically-
7 lakh rupees, no.
Okay.
You.
I mean, but it's a bargain buy. It's
I mean, then the bargain buys don't end. I mean, there are so
I
many
mean, if
options.
you have the Franks, then you can spend that much lesser and buy the Baleno. I mean, it's the same car.
Buy the Comet.
Except the turbo, that is.
You
The
buy a
Comet.
Franks and buy the Comet as a sidekick. हो गया काम तुम्हारा.
fair
best,
point.
Best two-car garage.
Best two car garage.
Wow. We've solved all your problems.
No need for a Lamborghini, guys.
if you want to buy one car under 20 lakhs, buy two cars and you're sorted. Okay.
And we still know most of you guys will just go out and buy a Creta.
So, for the sake of engagement, why don't you guys also leave your pick in the comments so we can get back to you maybe in the next episode and talk about what realistic choices comes from consumers and not auto enthusiasts who are trying to
go
be
buy
consumers.
20 lakh rupees is what you got in your pocket. What would you buy?
Specify the trim.
And even specify the trim.
No,
Yes.
no, very importantly specify the trim because
Yeah, actually.
Whether it's a turbo or a
Yeah,
naturally
Specify
aspirated,
the
yes.
trim. Need the extra room.
now
Yeah.
one last thing I'd like to talk about with our viewers, listeners. It's 46 degrees today.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Yeah.
we are peaking as far as summer goes. It is a terrible time to get inside your car after a long day of work. What are your top tips, guys? Experts, come on.
The first thing which you need to do is if your car is parked outside in the sun,
Reflector.
don't get into the car and switch on the AC immediately and have the windows rolled up. It's not going to work. The first thing you do is if you have a hatchback or a SUV, pop the boot open. The whole heat inside will start escaping. Start the car, switch on the AC, wait. And don't
Blow
go
a
to
speed
the...
full?
No,
No?
it's useless. Give it max at 2 points
Okay.
and wait for at least a minute or two. You will see your car will start cooling so much faster. I particularly like those sunshades on the front windscreen. They not only
useful.
keep your car cool, they also help from those plastics fading from black to gray. So you are taking care of your car also. Second, guys, be very careful of coolant levels in the car. And also if you have an older car which is 7-8 years old, do check the rubbers because those hose pipes they basically with time they deteriorate,
crack.
they crack, and if there is a leak in there, you've had it because your coolant is like coolant temperatures are like crazy. Please understand that the engine of a car is like hot beyond what you can think. So good effective cooling system is what you have to give the car.
What is there a specific coolant that is better or
No. So
do you
stick
advise
to stick to manufacturer recommendations. Let's not complicate matters. But make sure that if you come back from a long drive, like say for example, if you've gone to, I don't know why will you do that right now, but gone to Jaisalmer, you've gone through desert, sand, whatever. Come back, when you're giving the car a pressure wash, make sure that the radiator is given a
the
thorough
fan,
cleanup.
the gills are clean?
The gills are cleaned properly for cooling. Second and the most important part, I think, are the tires. The tires are going to bear the brunt of it.
Before you jump into tires, do you run a higher So most coolant is mixed with water. Do you run a higher ratio of coolant
No,
to
no.
water?
I prefer going max coolant.
Max coolant?
Yes, less water.
What is the ratio you run?
Um, well, I'll be very honest. I don't know what is happening to my car because for the past 5 years I haven't had to do that. But when I was driving my Esteem in the summers in this part of the world, which is Delhi NCR, I would do 80-20.
80-20.
Yes, yes.
Okay, tires.
Tires, you'll have to be very careful if you are hitting their life, in the sense that if your car has done 75,000 kilometers, your tread is deteriorated past a certain extent, it is better to change.
Why is that?
See, earlier the problem used to be tube tires. Nowadays it's not that. But the chances of the top portion, basically the tread section of the tire ripping out is very easy. Because please understand, like those roads are also sweltering.
They're probably like 50-55 degrees.
So, we were driving back from
More,
Chittorgarh. We were driving the Yeti. And during summer, what happens is the bitumen starts melting. So, the trucks create a rut line. Right? And on top of that, we are driving. So, first and foremost, there are like big humps on the road
Center.
which you have to be very careful of, and a blowout at that part of time means that if your car hits one of those ruts, your sump will go. So not just for general safety, you have to make sure that the tires are in good order so that they can keep you in control. You are not scared of anything.
Anak, what are your top tips for driving in the summer?
Well, not a lot. I mean, service the car before the summer.
Yes.
Actually, smartest thing, because like most people,
Very
they
true.
end up realizing that they haven't serviced their car, so they're searching for a schedule at the service center and be like,
No, that is not a problem these days, Anand.
I mean,
Searching
not
for
a
schedule
huge
and-
problem,
Yeah.
but like just a slight pain, maybe. The second would be like I do run lower tire pressures in the summer, just so, I mean, like the roads are boiling hot. So, especially if you're gonna drive more than 40 minutes, I think you're gonna reach peak tire pressure
yeah.
and peak tire temperature. So you do that. Other than that, maybe like, especially like I don't know, actually I've seen new cars like whenever we go home to Delhi and all, like I've seen new cars maybe burning out their clutches on the flyovers, and I have no idea if it's that because of the heat or
No,
just
no. It is just bad driving.
maybe bad driving.
No,
but
so
like
it is
no,
heat also.
it is
Of course, it's
it is
more
more
hot, huh?
pronounced
Yeah,
in the heat, because I never see this any other time. I only see this during the two peak summer months, that like there'll be a queue of 2-3 cars at the top of every flyover which have just
Also,
gone off.
Dipan, just another note. The worst effect of summer on your car is the paint and the plastics.
Exactly.
If you park it outside, yeah.
If you are parking it outside, like a lot of people don't have underground parking, they are parked inside the apartment parking and all that. Simple idea. Get your car polished properly before and after summer.
So are you guys PPF?
No.
ceramic, what-
I don't
no.
do that. I mean,
Just simple polish. I go for a simple polish.
rubbing polish.
Yes.
I
But a
think
proper
PPF
machine.
is for cars which like
So rubbing
really
polish
cost
essentially by virtue of its like design, it essentially removes a small layer of your
Yes,
paint.
it does.
Which I think a PPF is a slightly better solution.
No,
in-
I don't go for all of those. I
No?
just no. Rubbing
I mean,
is if
I
required.
mean, we have seen
rubbing
how
as
many
if-
people.
Waxing.
rubbing as if required.
Yes. Exactly.
Top
man.
tier consumer advice.
Okay, so a lot of
Wax
PPF
it up.
customers will tell you get it, and a lot of them will tell you it's a absolute waste.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, personal choice.
Also,
I guess,
PPF
like,
is very expensive.
yeah, it's very expensive.
I
The ceramic ones are like very
Yeah,
expensive.
it's
The
a-
plastic ones not so
and I
much.
think you guys covered most of the top car care tips. I'd like to just add in one more before we sign off. It gets super hot during the summers, and for street animals, the only place of shade sometimes is under your car.
Right.
So before you drive off, Rahul,
Whoa. I get to know whether there was something under my car or
please check under your cars.
We should
If
get
there's
him
an
one of
animal-
those hotel security mirror thingies, no?
He's if he cared enough to check under the.
It's better than like him trying to look under the car.
I'm not
Yeah,
looking
so
anywhere. I
guys,
start the car,
don't
I
be
give
like
it.
us.
I give
Check
5
under.
seconds for whatever is under the car to decide and evacuate.
Terrible.
There
Please
are
do not
deaf
be like
animals,
us.
I
Check
think.
What deaf
and-
animals?
Check under your
Deaf
car
animals.
for animals who are seeking shelter from the heat.
Yeah.
Be
Provide
better
them water.
people than us. Yeah, you could
Provide food, water, shelter.
Ah.
Get them home.
Arre?
Why not?
Hi guys. Hashtag save the animals. This is not an automotive podcast anymore.
Anyway, so I hope you guys got some constructive information out of this, got some perspective that you didn't have before. Maybe you have a few questions to follow up based on everything that we've talked about. We are always happy to provide insight. Just leave a comment. We regularly go through the comments under this video, and in fact on Spotify. You can mail us also. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. This is it from us. Signing off.